Well, the homies over at Libertas Veritas, good team of people that have been reporting the great news for a very, very long time, actually came out with something on March 5th that I had missed before, but I've finally decided to get around to talking about it since, it's starting to get out there a little bit. But it looks like our friend, the FBI Anon, has resurfaced, and he resurfaced just as, the events of director James Comey getting fired and how somebody was talking about that there was going to be a flood of leaks. It's almost like, Seven's exposed and Cicada 3301 kind of might have known a little bit of something something. And I mean, FBI Anon has been definitely out here for a long time, and it seems that he has resurfaced and starting to give us a little bit of information. So, like, the original thread came up on Pool, obviously, because that's where it normally comes up at. And it's been reposted to Twitter, Reddit, and I'm sure that it's getting around YouTube. But let's just go ahead and read through this and see how's it's going out. As promised by our DHS insider earlier this week, our FBI insider surfaces with information on Obamagate and a spring purge. If you heard our interview with Robert David Steele, he also spoke of the spring purge. This all falls together like pieces of the puzzle. Like the Cicada 3301 puzzle, right? Below is the latest question and answers by FBI Anon. So here we go. Question. Thank you for talking with us. What do you think Trump's allegations against Obama? In other words, carpenters in the world of carpenters, it has only begun. So was Trump wiretapped as our DHS insider and Robert Siegel suggest? Yes. Why? Wrong question. Well, of course he was tapped, but he wasn't tapped by the FBI. That's for damn sure. But who else could have tapped him? Who else? Oh, who taps everybody no matter what the NSA does? That's who does it. That's who is tapping him. Anyways, let's continue. Okay, by whom? Trump Tower was bugged by more than just RIC. So they're saying that okay, Trump Tower has been bugged, but was it bugged by the NSA, and was the NSA just sharing data with them, and that's how they were getting the information back, so like they could just look like they were getting it because they, on a technicality, because you know how much the government likes to base shit off of technicalities, right? So then the questioning was like, what? It says Brits, Israelis, in the fullness of time, much will be revealed, which kind of gets us back into the situation of the reasonings why. And we know that there was Russians, Brits, and Israelis in Trump's building, and also in that 666 building that Mr. Jared Kushner has a little bit of a hand in. So why the Brits? Same reasons as the Israelis. Trump is a threat to the deep state. The deep state is a threat to Trump. Globalists are the population's beekeepers. They harness the energy. They harness the honey, controlled oppression, or, debt slavery in another sense of the word, and how we've been living for a very, very long time. And this is like information that, we already kind of know, but it seems like somebody here is sharing some things that are definitively going to make things different. So they say, so why do you and other siders leak to us and others? Because once in a while, a bat needs to be taken out of the beehive. But that's a question, like, is this FBI Anon trying to actually help the people out, or is he, just trying to take one bad actor out of their, otherwise perfectly running beehive? Just think about that for a second before, you start jumping to any conclusions in any places, because we still don't have the information yet. And it says, so why do you want to keep the bees swarming? And it says, in a manner of speaking, we leak so that the people may have a just outrage and demand a just result. The people outnumber the government 300 to 1. It's a numbers game. We expect high-level arrests to happen weeks ago, but discovered the beekeepers had interfered at the highest levels. There is an internal war with our government. As many know, the shadow state is like a vampire facing dawn. They do not go easily into sunlit areas. They try to keep themselves hidden from everyone so that nothing of them can be revealed, because if they get revealed, basically their whole house of cards gets down, because I know about, I don't know, a whole website called Reddit, or not Reddit, no, two old websites, Reddit and 4chan, where there's a bunch of motherfuckers right there that'll find out all the information as soon as they get a name. All they need is a name, you know what I'm saying? So people are wondering why the Israelis would bug Trump. Well, think about it. The Israelis want to bug Trump because A, they want to know what Trump is up to. B, Jared Kushner's one of their high level assets, and they definitely want to make sure that they're keeping tabs on his ass all the time because, so a lot of people seem to think that he might be like the Antichrist or something. I don't really believe in all that shit though, but you never know. You really never know. So it says the same reasons they would keep Coast. Oh wow, I didn't even read that. And I already knew that. They keep Kevin Jared Kushner, who I fully expect to be let go by Trump soon. There's too much liability with Kushner. Kushner has pressures from the Israeli lobby, and Trump knows he's a delivery board for the AIPAC. And the Israeli bugged Trump because they were concerned about banning America First and the possibility that of a Trump win, they would see their foreign aid cut by. Which, by the way, was going to happen anyway. Well, it seems like it's already kind of seeming like it's going to happen a little bit, and that's not a good thing, Like, obviously, a lot of people in the media have been trying to paint Trump as, like a globalist and a supporter, but it kind of seems like, maybe he might be getting rid of Mr. Kushner in a little bit, but I don't know. It seems that he's giving him a lot of reins to the White House right now, and it doesn't seem like there's going to be any changes with that anytime soon. Let's see. What do you think of David Seaman? Is he a Mossad asset? Never heard of him. Yeah, he's a Mossad asset, or at least he works for Soros. How will this all play out? And he says, we're entering a time of a political purge, the likes of which has never not been seen for decades, if not centuries. Trump has evidence he needs to launch an investigation into a myriad of D.C. collusions. He must concentrate on communications between Lynch, Bill Clinton, Obama, and Brennan. And he needs to get serious with the pedophilia investigation because he can bring down his enemies in one fell swoop. McCain, Graham, Obama, Bill Clinton, and so on. His greatest tools include the Wiener file titled Life Insurance, names, dates, photos, videos, and Epstein's videos captured by the NSA when they were being delivered to the Israeli intel people. Wiener and Epstein, but his greatest tool is the collective rage of the people. Yep, rage against the machine, people. Trump must prosecute Pedagate. The relationship between Schumer and Wiener must be explored. It may lead to some stunning climaxes if you can excuse the pun. Wait a minute. So we need to look more into Schumer and Wiener, obviously, because there's a lot more information in there. And this life insurance file, what is this? Are we talking about real life insurance, or are we talking about a file that was entitled life insurance that had nothing to do with the insurance of life on the inside of it? Yeah. This is huge. As I said before, there's enough underbelly rot to collapse not only our government, to collapse the Lucid part of Israel and expose a huge political pedophilia ring that exists in the US, UK, Asia, all over the place. I think they call it the Covenant or something like that. I'm not sure. All is interconnected, and that's not even venturing into the extortion aspect of things. Will it get bloody? Let's just say it's flag weather. That means that it's going to be a shitty time. Any advice for Trump? He who hesitates is lost. So, yeah, this stuff has been coming up quite a bit, and I was just kind of like, holy crap. And, on Reddit Conspiracy, there's a lot of folks that have been talking about how Jared Kushner is a plant for the Israeli and Mossad and whatnot, and that's what he's been doing, why he's been so quiet. I mean, some people could say, oh, well, he's been married to Ivanka for, quite some time now, but people that plan things can be planning these things for a very, very, very long time. And think about it this way: royalty usually marries royalty, right? Even though they might not talk about it in the same respect. It seems like, wow. There's just always so many things that are coming up with it. FBI anon seems to be dropping a lot more information, and it looks like Twitter's been really asking for more and more and more and more and more. And if we know anything about what Julian Assange said not too long ago about the leaks are now going to be coming like a flood, maybe that whole cicada thing is going to be taken into a new level, because when we go here we realize that they changed the song, they updated it again, and we got the final Dogs of War song playing again, and we have a rising star, we have a meteorite, and then we have this thing that just says come, Comey, 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 Comey. It says Comey hundreds of thousands of times. Like, that's what she was writing, Comey. Is that crazy or what? And they knew about this since the beginning of it, since before, and I think that that's what the significance of the dates were, because once you start pulling them out, we start getting a new picture being painted of what's going on with this situation, because there's a lot more happening. There's a lot more happening than we cared to realize. Like, seriously, there's a lot of shit happening. So, Sevens Exposed has been pretty spot on a lot of this information, almost all of it, really. And here we are, Libertas Veritas is giving us more information from the FBI insider that's talking about, Pedogate, the deep state, and that's exactly what we were just going through in the entire puzzle, where they're trying to tell us that Israel isn't our friend, obviously Israel isn't out to help us out. They're looking to maybe, have their own thing going on. We got Jared Kushner in the White House, and he could be a plant for Israeli Mossad. I mean, this is crazy, man. Is there really a deep state cover-up going on, and is Trump in the middle of this thing? I don't know, but the anon seems that there's been a lot of information that that's been flooding out, and I believe that our next fabled date to see what's going to happen is going to be when we shed our circumference on pi. Remember the future. June 1st, 2017 at 6:01 in the morning will be the next update. What new prophecies will we have? I don't know. But I think that might be the time that the third rose has made itself apparent for. The first rose was the Arrow Dawn. The second rose was Comey, which leaves us with the third one to come. What will we find while we dig? I don't know. That's some new updates from Cicada 3301.